Yeah, my people, don't forget, it's still your boy Frigate TV, and we are here to bring up another Ogbenge news we don't set like this. Una know say finally Labour Party don't go court to ask the court to avoid the election that brought in Tinubu as the president-elect. I don't say to P2B of the Labour Party being their presidential candidate. He won't just tear Tinubu and the APC. And as they be like this, they fight. Or make we know say the battle. In a way, it don't set. It's all up. These two parties now won't just jaga themselves. My people, but I know say the way we P2B use they go about this thing. The way use they go about this thing. We don't know what thing will be the outcome. You know, most of us no too believe the judiciary. We no go lie, we no too believe them. But with the way they use they arrange this thing, P2B Day and Labour Party just they do one thing to make sure say they on turn or do the right thing from their own point of view, the right thing, which all of una know, obedient family una know this thing, you know. But it get high B. Jagaban no they sleep. APC no they sleep. Nobody know the way they cook. You know, Tinubu don't hire a lot of sons. P2B don't still hire a lot of sons. Now now they meet each other. PDP don't still do the same thing. With the current information where they get, say APC get like 60 sons. Labour get like 30 something. Then PDP like 40 something. It no go easy. It don't set. But the truth of the whole thing is that the legal battle has commenced. And let us look and see what the outcome is. But the truth again, we say they don't even drag Tinubu cases when get with US. US is a witness to this case. They don't drag so many international medias enter this matter. They don't also drag the company we produce the the beavers. When na their server the beavers they use. They are part of this case. So to you now, how they see this thing? The issue of say Tinubu they're not supposed to swam in as a president. First, in date of birth now forged. Another issue where they hope for grant get court case where they never decide. In get issues of narcotic being drugs for US. And US now is one of the witness to this particular case. And my people, how do they see this thing? Labour Party just want tear this man. Oh. But we don't know the outcome of the case. But even if he get high BAPC survive this one, Tinubu survive him, the scar no sure say he go heal so fast too. Because everywhere. But no forget, say, no be me if they talk all these things, so you go still hear how they used to tell you about the court, their proceedings, the legal this thing where they go follow the days. So make you still get faith, say something will happen. Me and my own not to just come cry, come tell you, say, see how they be, you know. But our own not to just follow patiently. They watch as the court case unveils, because nobody will be the judge. But the issue, the judge hand. But make you still just watch, make you still be updated, and make you know how they be. So you go still follow up. But the matter they say the battle, it no go easy between APC and Labour. But for Labour and APC, patiently they watch as the court case unveils, because nobody will be the judge. But the issue, the judge hand. But make you still just watch, make you still be updated, and make you know how they be. So you go still follow up. But the matter they say the battle, it no go easy between APC and Labour. But for Labour and APC, supporters, make una take them easy. Election has come, and it has come to an end. all the election, states and presidential has been done. So make we just take am easy, dey watch the court. Make nobody go take laws into in hand. The one wey don't happen. So make we take am easy. And make una watch this video. And make una give me updates on the comment section. Make we see how it dey be. We go still discuss further. Thank you so much, my people. Make una not forget to like and they share our videos. Oh, and make una not forget, say this video still supposed to reach other people here. And so many people still feel need watch am. So make una share, like, and comment. Now so it be. No time.
Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi has now officially challenged the result that saw Bola Tinubu of the ruling APC declared winner. It's set to be action-packed, with all the gladiators raring to go. Well, Peter Obi has already hinted at what his team of lawyers will bring to the table in his attempt to have the panel upturn the election result. Arise correspondent Godfrey Eshemoge paints a picture of the impending legal battle.
Presidential election petitions are filed 21 days after announcement of the results, with a 180-day timeline within which to dispose of the case. Atiku Abubakar of the People's Democratic Party (PDP), who emerged runner-up behind winner Bola Ahmed Tinubu of the APC, is already contesting the declared results in Nigeria's keenly contested elections of recent. But Peter Obi, who emerged third, is by far the most vocal of all four top contenders who were in the run-up for Nigeria's top job. The electoral traction which the Labour Party presidential candidate had gained in recent months was largely due to the huge activities by his popular supporters known as the Obedients. But with the case shifting to the courtrooms now is a different ball game. Key among the submissions in Peter Obi's petition is INEC's computation and declaration of results, including the announcement of Bola Tinubu as winner, which he claims did not comply with INEC guidelines, and as such affected the votes meant for the Labour Party. The Labour Party candidate is also contending that at the time of the conduct of the presidential election, Tinubu was not qualified to run due to a pending lawsuit against him, and for his running mate, Kashim Shettima, who was still a serving senator when he ran for office, he alleged that it is in clear breach of the Electoral Act, and in consequence, Peter Obi, among other prayers, is asking the tribunal to issue him a certificate of return as the duly elected Nigerian president, or in the case where it cannot do so, he is urging the panel to cancel the entire election and hold fresh polls, of which the APC presidential candidate Bola Ahmed Tinubu will not be on the ballot. Godfrey Eshemoge, Arise News.
Well, Arise legal analyst Chinwe Ezegbe joins us now for more on this. Chinwe, good to see you and thanks for your time. Finally, the battle is here, but again, we need to quickly establish this. It's not about looking at the matter that is in court. We're trying to look at some of the key concerns that may come up on D-Day. So, Chinwe, help us paint a picture of what this will mean for Nigeria's democracy as the Labour Party goes to the court.
Hello, Ngozi. Hello, Salami. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Go ahead.
Good. Now, you know that the Presidential Election Tribunal is one that has been constituted under the Nigerian Constitution. At the same time, we have very strict time bounds within which the tribunal must comply, and all parties, including the applicant and the respondent, they both must comply with very strict time limits, and what we lawyers refer to as sui generis, which means time bound, and which means that each party must file their petition within a specified time limit. So all lawyers have very, very strict compliance. They must comply with all the Electoral Act, regulations and statutes. For example, even though we do not want to speak so much about the varied details of the case, we can actually refer to Section 134 of the Electoral Act, which states exactly what the grounds must be. So before a petition is filed, either at the tribunal, by the NAS, or by the Presidential Election Tribunal, by the president-elect who is actually contesting the election, we must look at Section 134 of the Electoral Act. Now that says, in effect, that first ground that must be established without being sub judice is that the candidate who was elected did not comply with the age, or there was no prior prerequisite qualification. That is the first ground. The second ground is that there were corrupt practices in respect of the election and in respect of the electoral process. And the third ground is that the candidate did not qualify with a lawful number of votes cast. In other words, the candidate did not have majority of lawful votes. Now, those three grounds under Section 134 of the Electoral Act must be sufficiently established before the tribunal in cases of the NAS and Governorship Election Tribunal cases, or in the cases of the Presidential Election Tribunal at the Court of Appeal. Now, there are time limits which must be established.
Right.
The first one is that 21 days is all they have to comply from the date that election results have been declared to the first date of the hearing. Now, those 21 days started from 1st of March, as we know. So from 1st of March, it should expire by today. So petition must be filed by P-B by latest today. Then also, they have 60 days within which to lodge their appeals from the Court of Appeal to the Supreme Court in cases of Presidential Election Tribunal cases. Now, for the NAS and Governorship Election Tribunals, they have 180 days from the date of the first hearing to the last date of the decision that's been made by the tribunal or the court.
Right.
So there are very strict time limits, Ngozi,
Fantastic,
which must be complied with.
And thank you so much for breaking it down for us.
Thank
Let's
you.
bring in Frank Tietie to help us deepen it even further. Frank, good to see you. You've been on top of this for a while now. Well, first off, what do you make of Peter Obi going to court on the prayers, the two prayers that he made, and the grounds on which he is approaching the court? Help us get a deeper grasp of what the issues are here.
Well, Peter Obi is approaching the tribunal to declare him as the winner of the election based on lawful votes, to the extent that votes that were cast for the All Progressive Congress and the flag bearer, together with the president, the presidential and vice presidential flag bearers of the All Progressive Congress, amounted to wasted votes. Interestingly, that is one of his main prayers, together with alternative prayers. Alternative prayers, in that extent, means that if those prayers he had asked, the initial prayers or the relief he had sought, together with the fact that he is trying to establish that the candidates of the All Progressive Congress, the presidential candidate was not qualified, together with his vice presidential or running mate, then also canvassing the theory of regarding the Federal Capital Territory, the special status of Federal Capital Territory, and if that fails, if the court does not agree with such main prayers that as he has couched it, then the court should proceed to alternative prayers too, which includes that the court should consider to cancel the elections generally because of non-compliance to the provisions of Section 134. The courts are the ones on trial here, not necessarily the facts and the law that are brought before it. The Presidential Election Tribunal, at this stage with the appeal court and subsequently the Supreme Court, will now be watched very closely as it makes a determination of what Nigerians felt so much about. It is expected that the court will put to rest whatever controversies there are in with regards to the outcome of the presidential election. But Peter Obi's petition comes with that assumption that the People's Democratic Party may not file. We are not very sure about that. And again, we can't speak to it so much in terms of legal propriety and according to broadcasting rules, especially when the respondents have not actually filed their own response. I'm talking about the All Progressive Congress, the Independent National Electoral Commission, and Bola Ahmed Tinubu with the Kashim Shettima. Until they file, we will now see what the real issues are, I would say. But again, I must close on this line by saying that because Nigerians have been so worried about the status of the court on whether or not they deliver justice, in this case the Presidential Election Tribunal, it is important that the court does everything possible to make its proceedings quite public, to the extent that for once, as we have seen in other climes, like not too far away Ghana here, where we have seen live proceedings of live broadcast of the proceedings of Presidential Electoral Tribunal. We're hoping that the court, in this case the Court of Appeal, will adopt that, because I believe that we successfully led a campaign that convinced the National Judicial Council that it is time we have had live broadcast of court proceedings in Nigeria. This should be the time, because justice is rooted in confidence. It's not enough that Nigerians hear about pronouncements from the Court of Appeal on this matter, or ultimately from the Supreme Court, but they should have opportunity to participate in the way the litigation process is done, to the extent that we will see tendering of pieces of evidence, proof of whether or not certain results were cooked, or why certain states or certain results should be cancelled, and why, after counting lawful votes, anybody should be declared winner or loser in that regard. So the courts are actually the ones on trial here, starting from the Court of Appeal.
Let me stay with you for a bit before I come back to Chinwe, Frank, if you will. Help us here by perhaps giving a sense of what the prayers are for the Labour Party.
Clearly, the Labour Party is saying, according to its own, I would be as tactical as possible to avoid going into detail, saying that based on the qualifications, that the candidates of the All Progressive candidate wasn't qualified to contest the election, and as such, whatever votes he got are wasted votes. And then they also did not get the mandatory requirement of the two-thirds of the votes cast in the 1/4 of the votes cast in the FCT. It also went on to say that because there was substantial non-compliance with the provisions of the Electoral Act, together with all the facts that they must adduce in terms of non-compliance, the elections should be cancelled. But before that, with regards to lawful votes, if they are ever established, the candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, should be declared as winner. So that's his main prayer. And then alternatively, cancel the elections and then order fresh elections. It's that simple.
Right. Chinwe, before we go, 30 seconds, if you can. What will Peter Obi need to make a strong case here?
Peter Obi will need to sufficiently establish before the court those three grounds under Section 134 of the Electoral Act, particularly that which states that there were electoral corrupt practices. Now that, in effect, just to get to the point without wasting much time, will be in relation to the ballot papers, where there is a discrepancy between the ballot papers and the BVAS electronic results. Then I think Mr. Peter Obi will have a very good ground of succeeding at the Court of Appeal Presidential Election Tribunal.
Thank you so much. We'll have to leave it there. Chinwe Zebu is a lawyer and a Rise News analyst. Frank Tete, of course, a lawyer also and a Rise News analyst. Thank you both of you for joining us on YouTube.